Hi, today I'm updating my channel and I will be sharing a story with you, and it's something that happened long time ago when I was little. I thought about going by order and maybe sharing into more detail the stories that I have already shared on my Instagram, but because I can't remember what was the first story that I shared on my Instagram, I just decided to share this story that I wanted to share for a while. So this happened back when I was maybe 8 or 9 years old. So we used to live in our country, of course. Our country is my country is Chile, and we used to live during that time in a city that is called Iquique, which is up at the very north of the country. And my mom is actually from the capital, which is Santiago, and we live in Iquique for 5 years. And during those 5 years, every summer holiday, we will go from Iquique to Santiago. And my mom will drive, usually with my sister. She will drive as well, except for me because I was just little, so I was less than 10 years old. So yeah, so one of those holidays, my mom, we usually used to stay in a hotel, but this year was special, and my mom rent an apartment for the holidays, so we stayed in this apartment. Now I don't remember very well that time, and the only thing I remember is that the building was a very old building, and it was pretty much in the center of the city. I remember it being very gray, and we were on a first floor, so it had like a terrace. And is it a terrace? What's the word? Like a front yard, backyard thing. Like, I really don't remember well, but it had like an outside area where I could go. Now we had a dog, and so it was very good for the dog. But yeah, so I remember this day. My mom told us that we were going to have visits. We were going to have a friend of hers coming over for dinner, and so I remember that part. But then earlier in the day, maybe after lunchtime, I went outside to, I don't know, play, do something. I went outside and then I met these kids. There were like 3 kids outside. So I can't remember if it was me who came close to them or they came close to me. But the thing is, let me kind of clear this up. I had no friends. I was bullied at school from really early age, so I was a loner in my school, and I'm still am, but like very shy and very much of an introvert, so I wouldn't really get close to people, so I wouldn't really go close to these kids. So that's why I don't remember if I did it or if they did it. The thing, and what is really peculiar, because I never really socialized with people, and even like the neighbors, like neighbors will have kids, I will never talk to the neighbor's kid. You know how you always have like that kid that is your neighbor and you will play with them? Well, I never did. I was just alone in my house and just doing things on my own and watching TV or reading books or just spending the time with my dog or looking out for ghosts. So the thing is, I never could explain myself how that day I became social, and I always remember it, and I was just wondering how I did it. And the thing is, I did it, and I remember playing with them, and actually I had so much fun. I will just suggest activities and everyone will play along with me, and I was so happy because that was the first time I was talking to other kids and playing with other kids. Now here's the thing where my memory gets really confused. It's just that I remember like going outside the building, or outside, not outside the building, but a little bit more far away from the terrace or the place where I was. So I don't have the memory of actually being on the apartment or like on the backyard of the apartment, so I can't remember very well. For me it's like I was outside, but maybe I wasn't, I don't know. But it was, now why I found it weird was this memory, or it's because my mother will never ever allow me to go outside on my own, especially with other kids that she wouldn't know. So yeah, so that memory always stayed there, like, oh, that's a strange memory, but at the same time was like such a nice memory. Now, one thing to point out about the kids, it's these kids had different clothes than me. It was the 90s, late 90s, so try to imagine. I don't think kid clothing will change too much from late 90s to now, but just imagine a kid dress code now on day, and then compare it with maybe kids clothing maybe 70s. You will tell the difference, right? Well, these kids had that type of clothing, so it was like an old-fashioned clothes, but I didn't care, I didn't mind, I just found it strange. I mean, I was just a kid. What could I have thought about it, really? Like, I had no idea about fashion anyway. But now that I remember, it's just like, oh yeah, the kids were wearing this type of clothes, that's weird, but doesn't matter. Thing is, later, just a couple months ago, I talked with my mom and I told her, Mom, do you remember when we used to go holidays and we stayed in this apartment, and I was playing with the kids? And my mom was like, what kids? It's like, didn't I ever tell you that I play with the kids? We play outside. It's like, you never left the apartment, like you will never go outside, especially with kids. And it's like, Mom, didn't I ever tell you? And she's like, yeah, you told me. You told me one day. No, she's like, you told me that same day, that evening, that you were playing with the kids and there were no kids. And you will tell me that, like, I'm just kind of trying to quote as close as I can my mom's words. It's like, you told me that the kids were outside and there were no kids outside. And then she tells me the freakiest thing ever. She's like, in that building there were no kids, like literally no kids. It was a really old building, there were only old people living there, and then there were even like some apartments that weren't being occupied at all. So my mom was like, it was a really old building. I was like, that's why we got the, like, that's why they were renting it for the holidays. And I was like, Mom, are you sure there were no kids? I asked her, and she was like, yeah, there were no kids. There was like, would have noticed if there were kids. There were no kids in that building. And then I'm like, then who did I play with? And Mom was like, well, I don't know. And then everything kind of made sense. The clothing of the kids and the fact that maybe I told Mom that they were outside and they weren't outside. Maybe that's why I felt so close to them. Maybe because they weren't like alive. They were just like ghost kids and they just wanted to play, and I was there to play with them. So yeah, that's the story. Now my mom tells me there are a lot of things I don't really remember much of my childhood, but Mom sometimes will tell me like things, like sometimes I would just talk to people that weren't there, or like imaginary friends and stuff like that. I don't remember exactly. I always ask my Mom, did I ever had an imaginary friend? It's like, yeah, you had lots. And I don't even remember. Now I remember stuff, but I know I had a really bad experience that one day I will talk about here, and that experience is kind of the one that made me not wanted to see anything anymore. I had a few bad experiences, but I had a lot of cool ones as well. but now, nah, that's another topic. The topic today was about the kids, the ghost kids that I play with, that I never knew they were ghosts until recently. Like I never, yeah, I never thought about it. It was like a nice memory. It was like my first time playing with kids. Like I was such a loner. So my first time playing with kids was actually ghost kids, so no live ones. So yeah, kind of sad, but kind of really interesting. So I guess we were on the same level. They were sad, they couldn't play with anyone, and I was there, and I also never played with anyone. So yeah, I can think maybe we kind of help each other. Who knows? But yeah, that's my story. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think. Did you ever had any experience, like similar experience, that you thought there was a person but maybe wasn't? Let me know. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.